a mother to all of us, someone who was down to earth, someone who was a unifier for the people not only of Manicaland province, but the whole of Zimbabwe. The problems that we have gone through as a party, she was the one who would say, I grew up with this revolution, and gave us guidance where she felt that we were losing direction. She was there as a dictionary, as an encyclopedia to put us through with the revolution, what we should do to solve conflicts. So in terms of conflict management, she would say where there are two people always, they are bound to be conflicts. It's how you manage those conflicts. But I want to say that she was an inspiration to most of us young people that time when we joined the revolution, because the women leaders who that time were so bold, so daring, who also participated during that time when we had not embarked on the actual armed conduct. There were those women who would demonstrate, who would go to challenge the system, the Smith regime that time during a very difficult situation. So all of us were inspired by these great women like Ruth Chinamano, like the Tete Sabinas, Amai Mugabe, Amai Lesabe, Tenjiwe Lesabe, Amai Munemo, and also Mai Chitepo. But what was of great concern that time was that despite all those difficulties, sometimes they sacrificed their families just to make sure that the revolution, the spirit of the revolution continued. So for us, we ended up from Mutasa, from Manicaland. We come from the same district with the late Mai Chitepo and also the husband. So for us, we were inspired. That's why most of us young people, we left school and we joined the liberation movement in Mozambique. People like Vivian Mashita, who is also no more. All of us were inspired by Baba Chitepo and Mai Chitepo. So, and even after independence, you know, the president gave a position in government, and we know that with vigor she was able to pull the tourism agenda forward, the building, construction of Sheraton Hotel that time. She was the first one who came up with the idea, and we still see Sheraton Hotel, and this is one success story in Zimbabwe, but also her interest in the area of environment. I actually inherited it from her. She did lay the foundation for me, because that time when you talked about climate change, it was unheard of. But look at how it has caught fire, and now we understand the dangers. You can imagine 1980 rivers were flowing. We didn't have as many dams as we are having now, even wildlife. She took that agenda to the United Nations. The issue of CITES, when it started in Rio de Janeiro, she was the one also who pushed that agenda. The issue of information.
Pane zviri kuitika kati rapera aiwa musi mari pedza rabvira kure.
Yes, I was talking about the issue of environment, which started in Rio de Janeiro, where the whole international community challenged the developments that were taking place in terms of droughts, in terms of floods, which were affecting quite a number of countries, and the whole international community decided that we needed to address this issue head on. And now we talk of protocol, the Kyoto Protocol, now we have the Paris Agreement. It all started with Mai Chitepo. Then the issue of information and publicity. She was also at the helm promoting ZTV, even also the issue of cell phones. She is the one who started all the problems, the challenges that we experienced at the beginning with Econet. Remember, we had litigation where we were taken to go to court by Econet. That was the time of Mai Chitepo, the promotion of the Herald. So in terms of the media, she also contributed immensely. Mai Chitepo was a member of parliament for Mutasa Central constituency, and I remember very well it was the time when she got assistance from the EU to encourage farmers in Honte Valley to grow coffee and also tea, which resulted in Katio company being put together. It's disappointing that it has gone broke, and we hope that now that our relationship with the EU is improving, we are hoping to resuscitate so that most of these programs don't die. We need to resuscitate them and encourage those people, because it was a form of employment. One aspect also where we will remember her for is the women's movement. She was also part of the Women's League, as was mentioned by the president, that those were the very first founders, the very first women who identified the challenges that our women had, that one of being treated as minors, and she was instrumental to make sure that we came up with the age of majority, which allowed women to vote, also to venture into business, to be sued, and also to stand for any position, either in government or in political parties. The issue of maternity leave, together with the former Vice President Mai Chitepo, they were those women who were in the forefront to say women are doing a national service by falling pregnant, to make sure that the population continued to grow into a labor force so that we drive our economy. So she was quite instrumental, and we are enjoying maternity leave now. We should always remember Mai Chitepo for one of those women who pushed to make sure that that came into fruition.
Thank you, Minister. Mataura Jesus, nanda kupunza. Mama tozipedza.
At first